Sorry, just got out of the shower. If you don't like how my hideous body looks, you're gonna have to unfortunately deal with it. So, this is a CD update. I have another CD on the way, but I'm gonna have to. I want to do this now because I have too much to do on my to-do list. So, I want to do this to get it all out of the way regarding homework, My Little Pony marathon, carving pumpkins, the video vlogs, yada yada yada. First off, let's start off with Sabaton, the Great War. This is where they first, in every intro, recap what they're talking about. Like, for example, the Red Baron. High above the blood and mud of the battlefields, there was another war going on between the daredevils of the sky, known as the Aces. Among them, one man and his plane stand out, the Red Baron, yada yada, you get the idea. I decided to get the Great War edition, the History edition, just to make it more authentic for me, being being the big Sabaton fanboy. Next, we've got 4 Aerosmith CDs. Thank you to my good friend Alex Hoover for this big pile of CDs. Some of the CDs he actually didn't send me. Most of them are the ones that send me, because as you can tell, most of them are Bostonian bands from Massachusetts, to escalate my Massachusetts band collection, so it can be pretty vast, so it can boom with all the Massachusetts metal. So, Night in the Ruts, Pump, Done with Mirrors, and Rock in a Hard Place. Pretty clever photo cover right there, too. Alex, you really didn't have to do this, but the fact that he's doing it anyway, all because I spoiled the fuck out of him when he came to Massachusetts, is super dope of him. Dude, I cannot express enough how great of a friend you are, never mind me to you. What you're doing is super swell of you. I can't thank you enough for this. It's like Christmas every day for me now that you're doing this. I guess the whole motto, what comes around goes around, is true after all. Implying that even the good we do, it comes to fruition. Well, at least the phrase I just mentioned. Next, Behind Silence and Solitude, All That Remains. Another All That Remains, The Darkest Heart. I think that's their debut album, but I'm not sure. The only album I had by All That Remains was their latest, and The Fall of Ideals. Oh, and another Aerosmith album, Rocks. Columbia Records and the ever so classic album Toys in the Attic. Toys in the Attic. Sweet emotion. It always brings me back. It always makes me think of the Rock and Roller Coaster. I kind of find it jarring how the Rock and Roller Coaster attributes to a band that's from Massachusetts, all while that said amusement park ride takes place in Florida. The oxymoron to everything New England stands for. Well, not everything about Florida sucks, as there's a lot of diamonds on the rough, like Disney World, St. Petersburg, Daytona, Kennedy Space Center, Homestead, Miami Speedway, yada yada yada. Oh, and did I mention Miami Grand Prix? Next is Aerosmith's Draw the Line. Kings and Queens. I believe that's the song you play right when you finish Guitar Hero Aerosmith. Kind of like how you play Through the Fire and Flames after you finish Guitar Hero 3. Once again, Columbia River Records from 1977. Next is a 2000s classic, Overcome by All That Remains. A lot of people say that's where All That Remains started to lose their punch, but I still really like this album, especially 2 Weeks and Chiron. those bring back memories of Rock Band 2. Especially 2 weeks, when that song enthralled me the most, because normally you always hear at least one section of an All That Remains song with harsh vocals, but this is one of the only songs you hear from All That Remains that never utilize harsh vocals at all. It was all clean vocals all the way. Next, we've got Disarm the Descent by Killswitch Engage. So that officially completes my Killswitch Engage collection. Next is Aerosmith self-titled. Keep on a mamakin. Sorry for butchering that song. I'll shut up now. Next, we've got Get Your Wings by Aerosmith. It's a lot of Aerosmith's songs. Train kept rolling all night long. Same old song and dance. Damn, I always try to FC that song on Guitar Hero Arcade now that given that I'm a retired veteran of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, I always try to test my skills on the Guitar Hero Arcade games. I just wish they had a Rock Band arcade already. And make sure the set list for Rock Band Arcade isn't purely identical to the Guitar Hero Arcade, much like how World Tour was to Rock Band 2. I would rather have the songs expansive rather than just trying to turn it into a pissing match against the other. Killswitch Engage, Atonement. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but whatever. Metal Blade Records. This is gonna get kick-ass to listen to. Next is Incarnate by Killswitch Engage. Next is Live and Inspired by Godsmack. And I see they have their cover of Beatles Come Together, and I think Nothing Else Matters is that's their cover of Metallica. But I haven't heard that whether or not that song was a cover or not, so I'll have to look into it first. Next is 10 Years of Godsmack, which does a compilation of all the best tracks they had. Next is my the Godsmack album that was on my bucket list the most, which is perfectly fitting for any racing related video, vlog of mine, or what have you, or just any racing video in general. 1,000 horsepower, which is, by the way, the horsepower that NASCAR should race at, or at the very least 80% of it. So, hey, whatever. NASCAR is too impotent to take constructive criticism. So, whatever. Sorry for going on a tangent. Next, I know a lot of people don't like this album, but come bite me if you don't approve of my honest opinion on it, but I think it's pretty decent. It sounds, honestly, nothing like Nickelback. This is too melodic and harmonic to sound anything remotely like that mediocrity known as Nickelback. So, are you people deranged at all? Like, do you people need a mental institution? Because this sounds nothing like Nickelback. Next, but because of my respectful attributing to the 9/11 victims and the heroes of 9/11, I decided to get Octavarium by Dream Theater, since they have a song that's dedicated to September 11th. But unfortunately, much to my dismay, I have 2 of them. I accidentally bought it twice, so I don't know whether or not to give one to Alex Hoover or one to Lane. I'll have to just do a coin toss or something. So yeah, don't know whether to give it to Hoover or Lane. I don't know if either of them have this album or not, so I'll have to just bring it down to a coin toss. And then the last two, this, by the way, isn't what Alex Hoover gave to me. As I mentioned, bought it online. In the wake of me seeing Sonata Arctica live, not knowing over half their set list due to the fact that they have a new album, here's Sonata Arctica's new album right here. Should have bought this. I wasn't even sure it was released when I saw them live, but either way, I'm glad I got to see them play their music right before it was supposedly released. I don't know when it was released, but it was still kick-ass seeing them live, along with Battle Beast and Camelot. I even met Battle Beast, which really made my life. And then lastly, but not leastly, don't know if leastly is a word, but whatever. Finally, these guys have woken from their sleep after their absence from 1992. This is their third album. Yes, you guys aren't... I'm not shitting you guys when I say this band name, but it is More in the Southern Skies by none other than Exhorder. Yes, that groove thrash metal band from the 90s that was excessively compared to Pantera time and time again, so much so it pissed off Kyle, the front man for Exhorder. He was so sick of hearing their name handcuffed to them. But at least they're still active, and the band members, at least from what I have gathered, aren't bitches to each other like Rex Brown. Between Rex Brown and Vinnie Paul, rest in peace, Vinnie Paul, unfortunately. Alright, all good albums I got. Thank you so much, Alex Hooper, for your generous deeds. You will be. I will give you my word of honor that you will be in my life for good. I cannot thank you enough for doing this while I'm in the unemployment pits. I cannot thank you enough for searching out for these Bostonian bands for me. Thank you. You really, really did not have to do this, but you're doing it anyway because you're a swell dude. Thank you and for it all. While some of these albums on this pile you didn't contribute to, it's still a great pile of albums nonetheless. My collection just keeps on booming and booming and booming and booming.